People of the internet, Hans Kim's career is over, and we're going to learn all about it in today's video. Hans Kim destroys his own career by clouds of radiation. So let's see exactly how it all happened.
Hans Kim went from a rising star on Kill Tony to the comedy scene's favorite punching bag, and it's entirely his own fault. These days, simply mentioning his name draws immediate negativity from fans, with even fellow comedians openly dismissing him as a hack.
I just want to put a theory out there, but I always thought Hans Kim, the only reason he made it on Kill Tony was because Tony got in that controversy where he made racial slurs against the Asian comic, and then what was it, like a week after, or it could have been a couple weeks, I don't know. I just saw the clip on it, and then right after that controversy and Tony got in a lot of trouble for it, he then gives Hans Kim a golden ticket. It may just be a coincidence, but I always thought it wasn't about him being a funny comic. It was about Tony trying to repair the damage he did from that controversy. I may be right or wrong, but that was always my thought about it, because I cannot understand how anybody could think Hans Kim was funny. I remember the first time when I was researching Hans Kim and I watched a set of his, or a minute, whatever you call it, on Kill Tony, and I was like, seriously? I don't even think children in the first grade would find him funny. And I just could never understand it, but it made sense when later I found out that Tony got in that controversy and then he brought Hans Kim on. It's just a theory. Maybe I'm wrong.
That's how Hans Kim went from fan favorite to one of comedy's biggest disappointments. Hans Kim's career kicked off in controversy. Tony Hinchcliffe had just gone viral for making a racist joke about an Asian comedian during a live set.
There it is.
Fast. Tony was dropped by his agency, blacklisted from venues, and trending online for all the wrong reasons. Just days later, Hans Kim, an Asian comic, was pulled out of the Kill Tony bucket. He delivered a solid 1-minute set, and Tony offered him a spot as a regular. He wasn't hired for his talent. He was hired as a way to clean up the controversy. He was just at the right place at the right time.
Would you be willing to be
there it is.
New regular here on Kill Tony?
Yes.
Very, very exciting. What a brilliant political move on my part. We need more Asian comedians.
I'd have to say my success is owed to 10% hitting the mics hard, 10% writing, 80% being Asian at the right time.
But to his credit, Hans quickly began earning respect from the crowd. His awkward charm and commitment to being open made him stand out. He didn't just rely on the controversy. He looked like someone who could earn his spot for real. But it didn't last. He turned into a complete loser, obsessed with the lifestyle of a comedian rather than actually writing jokes.
Love it. How's the writing process been going for you? That's fun?
It's been good. Honestly, I should write more, but it's like so hard because Austin is such a party all the time. Like, I've had more fun here just partying.
Have you been off the drugs?
Yes.
Really?
A little bit, yes.
A little bit, yes. Hold on. Wait. Stop the music. You've been off the drugs a little bit, yes. So what does that mean? What are you doing?
I've been sticking with weed a lot.
Oh, we have no problem with weed here. How many little key bumps of blow have you done in the past week?
I did a little nasal cocaine with watery cocaine.
And I heard
This is a reason why Rogan Sphere comics are so bad. It's because they are more obsessed with the lifestyle of being rich and famous, partying, keeping up appearances, Rolexes, fast cars, big houses, doing comedy shows in arenas. And you could do that for a little bit, but just like music, just like actors, if you continue in that lifestyle, it'll eventually end your career, because you have to choose one or the other, because you can party all night, right? But then you're going to be hungover. You're going to be tired. You're not going to be 100%. You're not going to want to spend time writing jokes. Instead, you're going to be laying in bed in a dark room recovering. And this is why, there's so many unfunny comics, and this is why in the Rogan sphere, and why all of the ratings on their specials are so low, is because I don't think they want to be part of this comedy lifestyle that's always promoted on Joe Rogan, because all of them are bad, and obviously they're not spending time getting good at comedy.
I guess I left, but I heard Hans puked in 5 different places in Vulcan that night.
He famously puked in the trash can. Let's talk about the other 4 places. Was that true? Were there multiple places?
I puked in the sink in that bathroom. I puked on the sidewalk.
Tony's relentless hype initially helped Hans, but it quickly created unrealistic expectations. For a while, the hype made people overlook how weak the material was. But as the pressure to stay interesting grew, so did the gimmicks. Then came the moment that changed everything. Tony asked the crowd if someone wanted to come on stage and kiss Hans. A woman volunteered, and just like that, the infamous kissing arc began.
Hans Kim would not get kissed if he was just a regular guy. It was because of the fame he gained from Kill Tony. And then, why would you ever trust a woman that kisses Hans Kim? And you say, whoa, you're being mean. No. Hans Kim brought home a woman, which is really stupid if you have fame and you're on a show that is now the #1 podcast on the YouTube podcast charts, and you're getting seen by millions of people. You do not bring women back to your house unless you've, whatever process it is, vetted them, knew that they were really interested in you. Because, like I said, you cannot trust a woman that wants to kiss Hans Kim, because he brought that woman back to his house and she robbed him. I'm not being mean here. It's just a fucking fact.
Here with the brand new minute, it's Hans Kim, everyone. Here we go. Hans Kim. Is there a white girl out there that wants to kiss Hans Kim?
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Hans Kim here. I make out with a different girl every Kill Tony. Come watch Kill Tony.
It worked at first because it was this awkward, dweeby guy kissing women. Hans leaned into it, and it became part of his identity on the show. But it didn't take long for the novelty to wear off. The crowd was cheering more for the kiss than the jokes. Hans's 1-minute sets became predictable. He was turned into a moron that the audience laughed at rather than laughed with. Tony even started making t-shirts to incentivize girls to come on stage and kiss Hans because they stopped doing it. When that didn't work, Tony hired strippers and pretended they were audience members.
You're fucking
Did you girls
insatiable.
know about this before you got here? Did you know this? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. They know.
Do they pay you to do this? A house fee. Stripper talk.
Stripper talk.
House
No
fee.
house fee for a week.
The kissing arc and everything that came with it marked the beginning of Hans's downfall. He stopped writing and started chasing reactions. But as bad as it got, it was nothing compared to what happened when Rick Diaz showed up.
Like I said, they had to pay women to kiss Hans Kim. Right? I mean, how, as a dude, could you sit up there kissing these women knowing that Tony paid for him? I mean, this guy is a total, like, fraud. I don't know what to say. There's a lot of things I could say. But wait. And what's up, Kill Tony fans? You're just as responsible for promoting this dumb shit. You know, a lot of this comedy, and the reason comedy is dead, is because of Joe Rogan, Tony Hinchcliffe, and Kill Tony fans. Y'all have promoted more fucking trash in comedy that it's pushed out all the attention to the wrong people, and the good comics aren't getting any attention. And if they are, they're off somewhere else, right? And not visible, because Joe Rogan has basically made American comedy the comedy mothership. He gets so much attention that people don't know what real comedy is, because he's flooded the airwaves with his comedy mothership. We're all the best comics. And now you're seeing all these guys being revealed for being hack comics. So I blame you guys for that shit. We need to repair comedy. We needed to repair it ASAP because these comedy specials that are coming out on Netflix, they're all trash. And it's these guys' fault because these fans follow him. And I imagine at some point he's going to talk about how even the fans that promote the most comedic garbage in the world are even going to turn on this guy. Because even they know, even though they don't have a very good sense of judgment for comedy, even they will eventually see that Hans Kim is trash.
Hans's 1-minute sets were getting worse week after week. There was no progression, no real jokes, and no sign he was improving as a comic. Tony started to catch on, and so did the audience. That's when Tony began putting Hans up against other comedians in battles. If the challenger outperformed Hans, they had a chance at becoming the new regular instead of him. Hans managed to survive most of the earlier challenges, usually edging out wins with a little help from Tony. But then his future arch-nemesis, Rick Diaz, showed up. He earned a golden ticket, which meant he could perform on any episode, and he wasted no time making an impression. He came in and then did something nobody expected. He challenged Hans Kim for the regularship.
Well, if I judge it by my laughs per minute, I think Hans Kim would have gotten a run for his money tonight.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa. Whoa.
Oh, shit.
But you have a full-time, very, very, very important job in Brussels. Isn't that correct? So you technically can't be a regular on this show anyway.
I could take a leave of absence if I negotiated it.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, but
I mean,
And I would kick Hans Kim's ass.
wow,
Just for the sake
Jesus
of it.
Christ. Oh, my God. Rick Diaz. Well, Rick, Hans isn't up for a challenge this week because he had one this week.
Not tonight anyway, but
I
soon.
had no idea you were interested in such a thing. But I mean, you're a golden ticket winner. You have a spot on the show no matter what. But it seems like you.
I feel like you're protecting him.
He has to because he also has to protect his judgment for allowing a loser-ass comic and a really bad comedian, Hans Kim, to be promoted on his show as a golden ticket winner. So Tony has to cover for him. And, you know, it's just how it is. Tony's protecting himself by protecting Hans.
Rick was absolutely right, and everyone could see it. Tony was shielding Hans, but he didn't deserve the protection. His sets were getting worse, and the audience started to see him for what he really was, a man-child with an inflated ego.
I recently was verbally threatened by a McDonald's employee.
Verbally threatened?
Yeah.
You got threatened by a McDonald's employee
Yes.
of gang violence?
Yeah.
What started it off?
Yeah.
I was just waiting in the drive-thru for 30 minutes to be told it was closed.
So what happened? They tell you that it's closed, and then what? You're like, I've been waiting here 30 fucking minutes, man.
And then I just asked him where he works, and then he got all mad at me for no reason at all.
Wait, you asked him, but he's wearing a McDonald's uniform?
Yeah, I was like, where do you work? He's like, what? I was like, where do you work? He's like, here. I was like, yeah, that's right.
Oh, it's funny when you find out the full story, right? Oh, that's right is a different thing. Look at Hans taking his Kill Tony energies to the McDonald's drive-thru.
Jesus.
Yo.
Do you know who the I am? I'll take a number 3 with a small fry.
Tony, that's called the curse of Kill Tony, then.
It really is. The egos grow fast here.
The second Rick Diaz entered the picture, it was obvious Hans didn't stand a chance. You didn't have to scroll far. Every comment section was saying the exact same thing. I've been wanting to ask this for a long time. But how do we actually get through to Tony that we don't want him? I'm not sure why the crowds cheer for him. I'm not trying to be funny or anything, but he's awful. In 20 plus years of enjoying stand-up, I've never felt disdain for a comedian until now. Such a pathetic, entitled, weak little man. I stopped drinking long ago, but I'll be having a glass of champagne the day this loser finally crashes and burns. And don't worry, Hans, I've got patience, and you have no redeemable attributes, so take your time. Some even made and signed a petition to remove this hack from the show. All this deeply angered Hans Kim.
See, that's the thing I don't get, right? The Kill Tony fans eventually did turn on him. They did see it. But, like, how could you not see it from the beginning? How could you not see? I mean, Tony admitted it when he gave him the golden ticket that it would be good for him and his PR. I just don't understand how Kill Tony fans promote so many bad comics that aren't just like, ooh, super good, and then they tank. No, they're bad from the beginning. You know, David Lucas, Cam, William Montgomery, Casey Rocket. Who's that crazy guy that's always like, hey! That tall guy that I can't say that. I don't want to get. You know what I'm talking about. And it's just like, what's wrong with you guys? Are you guys so desperate to make Kill Tony a part of your identity and to shield anybody away from it that criticizes it, that you basically ruin your show with all of these bad comics? They're bad from the beginning, but yet you promote them and then complain about it later. I just do not understand that at all.
He was pissed.
Oh, no, he blocked me on Instagram today.
Oh my God, he did?
Yeah. It's okay.
I mean, it was getting really nasty after he kicked your ass out of the green room. It was getting super nasty.
Which time?
He was,
Oh yeah,
gosh.
twice.
Yeah.
He kicked you out of the green room?
Oh, we didn't stop hearing about it.
Really?
2 times.
I haven't.
No. So on the 30th, he kicked me out of the green room. And on the 31st, I got there early, and I told the staff, I was like, I don't think he's going to want me there, so can you find me a nice place to stay at? And I stayed on the street upstairs in the balcony with other people, with Aaron Bilal and all that.
Hans kicked you out?
Yes.
Kicked his ass out.
Tony ignored it for a while until Rick came back and performed another great set.
You know what? He had a great set tonight, but absolutely, Hans, sorry, bro. Next week, your final week in town, 60 seconds versus 60 seconds for the regular ship. It will be Rick Diaz versus Hans Kim to start next week's show.
The match ended up happening on an episode with Shane Gillis and Matt McCusker as guests, and just look at their reactions when it was over.
The stakes.
Honest vote.
Well, I mean,
In that 1 minute.
I don't know if it's a.
All right. My vote. Do I actually have to vote?
I don't know if you. I'm looking at this as more of like commentary.
All right. Commentary. Rick's got the longest forearms I've ever seen.
There you go.
So that's what I'll go with.
Rick's got long.
But who got
forearms.
more laughs in that 1 minute?
Who do you think?
Who do I know? It's not who do I think.
Yeah, who?
All right, I guess we'll see. All right. Rick.
Okay. Shane says Rick Diaz. Matt McCusker. Energy is
It was close. It was very close, but I surely thought the muscles from Brussels brought the heat.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
After watching that, most people expected Rick to win, but Hans was announced as the winner, even though several panelists had clearly supported Rick. Instead of being gracious, Hans immediately started yelling at him. It wasn't playful or part of the act. You could tell he was genuinely upset.
How do you feel right now?
Feels all right. I feel like I won tonight either way.
I love that.
I love this fucking show. Thank you for having me. Thank you for the opportunity. I love Hans either way. He thinks I hate it, but I don't.
Bye. Boring. Go back to your fucking Instagram.
Go back to having a chip on your shoulder, bro.
Sugar,
I could have roasted you all night.
It was such a blatant robbery, it'd be like if the judges gave CM Punk the win in his UFC debut. Even David Lyer knew Hans lost.
See, how can you trust Tony Hinchcliffe's judgment on Kill Tony when instead of choosing who should have won, he chooses who protects him? Because once again, Kill Tony or Tony Hinchcliffe protected Hans Kim so that he could protect his own identity. It's not hard to admit you're wrong. It's not hard, you know, if Hans didn't do the work, he shouldn't win. But Tony will protect himself. And that's why all the comedians on Kill Tony are starting to lose their careers, because none of them are actually really good. None of them. And I don't even understand why you guys watch that show. It's so fucking awful.
Well, what did you think about the battle? You saw it.
I'm very, to be honest, bro, when I saw the battle, once you did your part and I was out there being your biggest cheerleader, and like you said, there's a picture of me flicking Rick Diaz off. We'll probably show that in the clip somewhere. Once you did yours, I was like, I don't need to, like, he could have went up there and made himself disappear. I didn't care.
You thought I did good enough?
Yeah, like, you're my brother, you know what I'm saying? And
you thought I had a decent set?
To be honest, I didn't, because of the acoustics, I couldn't hear your set.
Well, just tell me what you think. I don't care. Everyone's saying that it sucked.
What was the joke that you did?
Hans was getting hate from fans on a level I haven't seen in a long time. To Tony Hinchcliffe's and Joe Rogan's Fleshlight's credit, they really tried to help him, but the truth is, Hans just isn't that talented. The backlash got so bad, they decided a rematch with Rick Diaz was necessary, mostly so every comment wouldn't be slamming Hans. Tony and Hans agreed he should take a break to prepare, and that's how Hans accidentally demoted himself. On that very same episode, they announced a new regular to fill in for him.
Thank you, Michael. Okay, Hans, we have come to a very, very interesting agreement, you and I, earlier on the phone. He is battling Rick Diaz in an unbelievably exciting rematch. While he won, he went on to challenge Rick Diaz to silence the haters. It's happening May 10th, live from the LA Forum, right?
Yes.
So. We realize that what's not fair is that Rick gets to prepare this super minute over months without having to spend any minutes or interviews on the show. So it would be fair to give Hans Kim a break. So unless he absolutely wants one, he will not be performing until May 10th, live at the Forum on Kill Tony. And I will tell you right.
Damn. You know, you could feel bad for Hans Kim, but that's what happens when you don't practice your craft that you're getting paid for, right? You can't, and also Tony didn't admit that he made a mistake for picking Hans Kim, but he had a very clever way of sweeping it under the rug and getting rid of him. You know, I mean, I'm sure in the future he's going to have to do that a lot. And you see people just go away. You know, I think these guys are just hurting comedy. And I know the fans would disagree with me. But Joe Rogan brought all this attention and made comedy all about what the Rogan sphere is doing. And now that's all that gets promoted anywhere. And good comics don't. I understand if you like Kill Tony. But please stop telling me this is the best comedy has to offer, because it's not. It's just a show you've attached your identity to, and your ego is unwilling to admit that it's shit.
Right now, indeed, later tonight, you will all meet the new regular that will open the shows every week here on Kill Tony. Isn't that exciting?
Even worse. And you wanna know how bad it was? I think it was maybe it was South by Southwest or some festival. I put it in a video. Hans Kim was doing a set in like a cafe with two other who knows comedians, while all these guys were performing at theaters and joined up together. You know, to do these big shows during South by Southwest. Hans Kim was doing a set in a cafe that probably fit 40 people max occupancy. That's what happens to Hans Kim because he blew his opportunity. I don't think, even though he wasn't funny, he could have worked hard and kept it. Don't take yourself so seriously, guys, because what you think you have and you own, it goes away so fast. I mean, I know that. I know that every day with this YouTube channel. It could be gone, you know? It could be done. That's why I make videos every day. Because I want to work hard to keep it. Shit.
Yeah, Sam, what'd you think about this sweet performance by Hans Kim?
I'm a big fan of Hans off stage. I'd
love to open for you one day.
No. Well, Hans, that was very good.
Thank
All
you.
Yeah. I'm also surprised I said that to you, Hans. You're doing
You know what's funny? You know, if you don't believe Joe Rogan is a terrible comic and has a terrible judgment for who is a good comic, he took Hans Kim on the road with him. And he bragged about him several times. I know many of you JRE fans would like to forget that, but he did.
Coke? Did
Yes.
you pee in it first? Thank you.
All right.
Oh no, Hans did something brave. He finally earned a headline. Hans, yes. The Palestinian joke was great. All it took for you to write a good joke was a genocide, so that's good. Thank you for doing a good job.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's been pretty tough so far.
All right.
We had to pretend that Hans was good, and then...
Hans plays basketball?
He does. He's a nightmare to be out there with, but yeah.
Do you guys pretend he's good at that too?
What do you...
Look at Joe being overdramatic. Meanwhile, Tony Hinchcliffe and Hans Kim, or Joe Rogan, are the ones responsible for Hans Kim. It's just like, I don't get it. The whole fucking Rogan sphere are fraudulent comics, and they're hypocritical. And they it's like the B.I.G. lyrics, stick and move. You know, that's what they do. When it comes back on them, they're like, what? Hans who? Hans who? Who's Hans? You know, I just don't get it. Dude, and they keep doing this over and over again. Can we just get back to real comedy? Please stop listening to these people and their suggestions for who comics are. They are literally destroying the comedy scene. And y'all keep promoting it. And I get preferences. But like, how many people that are absolutely dog shit do we need to go through their story arc to find out that they're actually dog shit before you stop listening to these guys' suggestions? Jesus.
What do you mean it smells like 12 degrees? What do you even mean by that?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. What do I mean? That's the sign of a true comic. Exactly.
Tang Dang is Matt Boy's ghostwriter.
He's the only reason you think you're funny. So.
Pirate soft.
Yep. Just like this guy right here, Pirate Software, full of shit, you know? Joe Rogan and Tony Hinchcliffe are the Pirate Softwares of comedy. And just like he can't write code, Joe Rogan and Tony Hinchcliffe can't do comedy.
Don't stay.